left there. Could you take your name and your Twitter handle, please?
Yes, it's LA Wilshaw. My Twitter handle is @1_LA, and that's my Instagram there as well, which I use more often. So
it's 1L_A_Wills.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Ben, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. I haven't seen you for a little while. Could I take your name and your Twitter handle, please?
Hi, my name is Ben Hodges, and my Twitter handle is @BenSVHodges.
Excellent. Well done. And in bed as well. And we've got Craig next. Craig, can I take your name and your Twitter handle?
I'm Craig Willard. I'm @Craig_Willard on Twitter, and I've come woefully unprepared, but I did get my beer ready, so that's fine.
Green screen's not coping with my beer. Doesn't exist. I like that. Happy days. Let's have Alan.
Hi, I'm Alan Bradley. I am one of the hosts of the Motoring Podcast, and my Twitter handle is @AGPBradley, BRADLEY.
Fantastic. And Simon.
Hi there, I'm Simon Browse. I'm a classic vintage car restorer, and my Twitter or social media handles are simply @CyBrowse.
CyBrowse, excellent. Cami.
Hello, I'm Cami @Cami Racing, and I run Go for the Gap.
Ooh, nice.
In cute cushion form.
Have you got a green version?
No, not yet. It's not even red, but it just comes up on the camera.
Oh, really? What colour is it? Orange or something?
It's a sort of coral to match a sim racing team that we sponsor.
Prismatic?
That's the one.
Yeah, see, I know my stuff. Cool.
Oh,
and your Twitter handle for anyone that doesn't know already, Cami Racing, you said, actually, didn't you?
Cami Racing or Go for the Gap Co.
Fantastic. Chris.
Hi, everyone. I am the marketing and PR coordinator and Automotive Dogs Body of Hire, and my Twitter handle is @ChrisHDrives.
Thank you very much. I had a little bit of breakup there, but I think we got all that. Did everyone else kind of? Yeah, I've got some nods. Excellent. Happy days. Richard.
Hello, I'm Richard Gooding. I'm a freelance motor mindset and graphic designer, and my Twitter handle is @RichGoodingCom.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And Naomi.
Hello, I'm Naomi Panter. I'm the co-founder of a motorsport and gaming consultancy called Navigate, and I'm @Naomi Panter on Twitter.
Fantastic. So what are you up to nowadays at Navigate? Because we're seeing this new racing game, the top-down racing game.
Yeah, Circuit Superstars.
Yeah, what's that about? Because I've seen there's like some big names that have already had a go at setting a lap time, and I haven't got around to it yet. But I need to kind of get on it and see if I could beat the likes of Romain Grosjean and Sam Bird and co.
Yeah, it's an amazing game. It's so cool. It was teased or kind of launched at E3 in 2019, and then obvious delays with COVID and everything. But I remember when it was launched, I wrote to the PR, the game at the company, and I was like, "You have to let me work on this game. It's so cool." And yeah, we were kind of keeping in touch all through COVID and everything, and then kicked off just recently. And it was a really cool idea they had for launching the game. Actually, was they worked with Top Gear to license the Top Gear test track into the game, and then the pre-launch campaign was we had to put together a list of 10 drivers, including our own Charlie Martin, to set a hot lap on the Top Gear test track, and then we released those. Two a week then up to launch. But it's a fantastic game. It's such a fun game. So many people compare it to Micro Machines and things like that from back in the day. It has that vibe, but it's really worth playing because it's very cute and very easy to kind of get into, but it is really, really hard to master. Right. Cami, you'll kind of say,
oh yeah,
you've played it a good bit.
Yeah, I had a go at trying to beat the top times. I think I got 5th, just ahead of Lando Norris I don't know how much practice they got, so I just gave myself 3 laps to do what I could. But it's great for the sim racers who don't want to stop playing racing games, but you want to chill and just hold a controller and, be in your underwear and sitting on a beanbag and something less serious.
It's quite nice to have a game where you can have it. There can be enough of a challenge, but the challenge isn't getting the braking point right or setting your car up just perfectly as you would in a real car. For me, that's quite alienating. Whereas a game like this, I like the challenge of it. I know that I can sit down and try and get faster and faster because it's kind of stop and go, and that's it. But and it even has pit stops and everything in it. It's brilliant. It's well worth picking it up.
So is this for PC or is it a mobile game for tablets?
It's
or...
PC on Steam, yeah, and it's on
Okay.
Xbox One as well. Yeah, and it'll be coming later to PS4 and Switch.
Fantastic. Look forward to trying it myself. So one thing I will say, as you guys might have seen, we're actually recording this one just in case, because I have to leave at some point during this stream. But LA, bless her, is going to take over. So you're going to be in LA's hands after about 3/4 of an hour or so. So good luck with that. We'll see what happens. But just in case it does cut out for anyone watching at home, don't worry, we'll upload the full video later on. But we've got some catch-ups to do because, like I say, I haven't seen you for a while, Ben. You've always been so busy, and it's so great to have you back. What have you been up to since the last time we managed to get you onto a ZoomZoomers?
Well, as always, it's good to see everybody. Wow, you know what? The last few months have been mad. We did car of the year for like days at RAF Bentwaters in Suffolk, getting sunburned, generally mooching around the track, trying to make sure everything got photographed and trying not to run over any photographers because apparently they don't like it, as well as making a film. And just everything else has just been manic. It's just been lots of tests, lots of bits and pieces. So, yeah.
So when are we likely to see that? Is that already out? Is that going to be like going into 2022?
That came out towards the end of last month.
Excellent.
So forgot to mention that. That's vitally important information.
And where can people find that?
It's on the Car Buy YouTube channel under the awards section. And we've got actually a really cool video coming up tomorrow on the Tesla Model Y as well.
Oh, nice.
So finally, we actually got one in.
And has that been the car that you've had on test and managed to kind of take onto a track or something as well and get a proper review of?
So Tesla released a couple of cars in the UK a few weeks back, towards the end of the month, and everyone got pre-access to them, so they could do the written review and the video reviews. So our video is probably about a couple of weeks later than the driving electric one, but it was shot at the same time. So everything background is going to look the same, basically.
Yeah, I imagine so. Oh, it's good to see. I can't wait to see that. Let's go over to Chris now. What I mean, you've been busy with Peugeot Sport Club stuff. What's been the latest since the last catch up?
We have a car show which is coming up shortly. When is it? 14th and 15th of November. We're gearing up. Always a great show. If you haven't been to the NEC Classic Car Show, very clever in that the organisers don't really invite the cars. What they do is they invite the car clubs, and the car clubs want to outdo each other by having better and better cars every year. So it just seems to get better and better and better and better. So we're hoping to have some pretty cool stuff, which I can't really say too much at the moment, but we got some pretty cool cars. I would just say one of them involves a certain late-ish rally driver, and yeah.
Okay. So is anyone here planning on going to the NEC Classic Show? Simon, surprise. Alan?
Yeah, I'm hoping to get along. Hopefully
Cool.
get along on the Saturday. Yeah.
So Chris, are you there for the whole thing?
I'm hoping to be there for all 3 days. Yeah. So if anyone's about, come and see me. I'll be at the Peugeot Sport Club stand, all wandering around, but I'll have a Peugeot Sport Club t-shirt on, so you should be able to find me.
Fantastic. We're looking forward to a Zoomers selfie, which tends to happen at
I'll
such
be,
events.
I'll be the person in the hazmat suit. That's fine.
And Ian's got to be there, right? Because he's like just everywhere, isn't he? So
No doubt he'll be there. He'll probably have a stall, I would have thought, with his pop color stuff.
I guess he'll either be there or at Racer Remembrance, which takes place in the same weekend. So Mission Motorsport Racer Remembrance out at Anglesey.
Well, maybe he's not there for all 3 days, but maybe
normally Ian's there because that's normally where I am as well. So
Gotcha. Yeah, the one place he isn't is here tonight, which is a shame. But he did drop a picture on social media earlier of him with a large part of his project car. He's got a new rear axle. Was it, Simon? Is that what we were looking at there?
Yeah, so it was the bit that basically connects the engine to the back wheels. He's picked up that bit, and he kept saying that I picked up this wonderful new part for my car. And maybe we can put it in the comments somewhere. When you guys see, oh no, we'll put it on the Twitter pages where we put it. The picture of this brand new part he's bought for his Chevette. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, it's if that's brand new, then so am I.
Recycling, isn't it? It's recycled, brand new, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah. No, look. It's great to see that progressing. So for those of you who don't know, he's making like an amazing Chevette, and the color of it looks stunning. But now he's got to make it work, which is a big thing. But I'm sure he'll do it, and I'm sure we'll have him back soon as well on ZoomZoomers to tell us all about how it's going. So Richard, what's been happening for you since you were on the last ZoomZoomers, weren't you? So it's not been too long since we last spoke to you.
Went to Suffolk and Essex to drive the Kia EV6, which was nice because A, it's a good car, and B, I only had to drive 30 miles, drop my car off, pick a car up, drive to Suffolk, which is where I'm from, drive around Suffolk, and then come home again the following day, drive 30 miles home. Brilliant.
That's a result for you. So have you yeah. So you know the area quite well as well. So you know where to kind of take it to test it out and stuff like that. So
I found some nice roads that I hadn't known before as well, which is quite nice. So yeah, but that was good. The old Polo is in classic retro modern this month, with the big picture of it being written off. But there you go. And I've also been writing some stuff on hydrogen Dakar races and how to build a sustainable car, which I must thank Naomi for her help on, because that's been brilliant. So yeah, busy.
Excellent, good stuff. And actually, talking about since the last ZoomZoomers, Craig, we'll touch on motorsport here because actually we've kind of skipped over that a bit. This Formula One season is really heating up now, isn't it? It's kind of really hard to see where it's going to be going.
Oh, I know. 5 races to go, 6 weeks. So it's sort of going to come like really thick and fast with Mexico this weekend. Sao Paulo, Qatar, Jeddah in Saudi, and then Abu Dhabi. And to be honest, I have no idea what's going to happen in like any of it, which is great. So just place some bets wildly and hope. But at this point, you would have to say that Verstappen and Red Bull do look a bit stronger, but for all we know, Mercedes and Hamilton can bounce back at Mexico and Sao Paulo, which have traditionally sort of been strong tracks for Red Bull in the past few years. So we'll see in that regard. But I'm very, very excited for the run-in for the season. I can't remember the last time I was so excited for the conclusion of a championship. Really.
Yeah, it's so unpredictable, and I think, am I right in saying there's 3 races in a row coming up?
There's 3 races in a row. It's pretty intense as well because it's Mexico and then Sao Paulo, and then they've got to fly everything over to Qatar. All in a row. So that's going to be an absolute pain for those working in the championship, and then they have a week off, and then it's a double header to round out the season.
Blimey. So I mean, there's a 5-week gap between this and the next ZoomZoomers on the 6th of December. So there's going to be quite a lot happening in the world of motorsport between now and then. And LA, in terms of the support races for these Formula One races, what's going on at the moment? Are we still alternating the F3, F2, or how's that going?
I'm just F2ing.
Okay.
I'm not F3ing. Yeah, that's sort of, it's very similar to Formula One. There's no set champion right now, and usually that does go down to the last race or the last race weekend anyway. So it's not disappointing as far as that goes. There's still a heck of a lot to play for because this season there's 3 races per weekend now, so there's quite a lot of points up for grabs. If just nod your head, Craig, I think 65 per weekend. Yes, thank you, Craig. So yeah, 65, and there are 2 race weekends to go, again Jeddah and Abu Dhabi at the end of the season to support the Formula One. So it's, you know, we have the rookie Australian Oscar Piastri for Prema Racing that's leading the championship by 32 points. So that sounds quite a lot, but obviously if there's 130 points left in the bag still from, you know, the rest from the race weekends that are left, then even I think it's sort of down to sort of, I think 10th place. It might be for sure, Richard for sure, maybe down there somewhere. Nod or shake your head, Craig. But you know, even he could mathematically still win this championship. So mathematically, there's still quite a lot of drivers that can win. You know, if Oscar Piastri and number 2 Guan Yu Zhou, who's still rumored to be possibly joining Formula One next season, still unconfirmed at the moment. We're all still waiting for that announcement. You know, it still could be him. You know, he's chasing away, and I kind of feel like because the champion of Formula 2 can't remain in Formula 2, they either have to progress into Formula 1, which is fantastic, you know, we all hope they do, or they have to move over to something else that's, you know, Formula E or even Indy, you know. I don't want to lose Oscar Piastri if he does. Obviously, he really doesn't have a Formula 1 seat next season. So it would be a little bit nice and poetic if Joe won it, because if he gets a Formula 1 seat, nobody else loses out, and we don't lose a very good driver that we've all got to know and love this season. Because it's been such a delight really watching Oscar Piastri, you know, just... He's had bad weekends, bad races, but then, you know, he's had some really great, stunning, outstanding drives as well. So, but we've still got Robert Schwartzman, who was the dark horse last season in the running. We've still got the fantastic Dan Ticktum, who I just think is brilliant, and I love him to bits. And then, you know, a few others, the potential that's Poucher, you know, I mean, wait till we see him in Formula One, because he is an outstanding and exceptional driver. So yeah, a lot to play for. And we're excited for those last 2 races, but it's been a big gap this season, for the last between the races. Sorry, it's about a 10-week gap, I think. Hasn't quite worked out this year's format, and the powers that be have acknowledged and, you know, and have rightfully not apologized, but, you know, made it so next year it's again completely different, and we've got a nice number of races next season now, which should be great. More support for Formula One, and they're mixing with Formula 3, which, you know, they're all back together, the gang's back together again. So I'm just excited for the end of this season and for next season too, and I'm sure Craig is as well.
Yeah, and I mean, last year we seem to have quite a few Brits in the championship that were doing quite well. We saw Jack Aitken having a go in a Grand Prix car during the Grand Prix weekend. Callum Ilott disappeared. Where did Callum go?
It's off to IndyCar.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, he is going, next season, but he had a very quiet season this season, just being there in support and, you know, reserve. But yeah, we did have Dan stayed, but Jack Aitken unfortunately had quite a bad accident this season. In one of the gaps, he was racing in a different series, and he had a spinal fracture back issue, but he's healed. He's going to be doing free practice 1. Which Grand Prix is that, Craig? Is it the next what? Just remind me, which Grand Prix?
That's a very good question. I think it's at Abu Dhabi, possibly.
I think it might be.
Yeah, I think it's Abu Dhabi. I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, so it's really good to see him make a medical comeback, you know, and a fitness comeback, and be ready to hop back into a Formula One car. And really that kind of gives us a good, you know, because he actually wasn't supposed to be in Formula 2 this season, but he did get a drive with HWA, which, you know, is that wasn't planned, but then he came into that team, then unfortunately had that accident, so we haven't quite seen the best of what he can give us this season. But yeah, it's really great to see him come back. But you're right, Callum, you know, and it's a shame we've lost him, because I thought he was quite a good talent really, and felt like not necessarily deserve. I don't like to use the word deserve a place in Formula One, but the idea of this feeder series the last few years is to produce drivers that are Formula One potential, and if they're disappearing into other into other series, and we never see them again, and we never see them in Formula One, then I don't know. I don't want to use a negative line here.
It makes you wonder if something is wrong with the way the feeder series is set up. But as a nobody who doesn't have your knowledge, Ellie, that's what it strikes me, is that maybe there's something wrong in the way this is set up.
I don't think there's anything wrong. I think that the plan's working, but maybe it's working too well. Maybe they're producing too many exceptional drivers too quickly than what was in the script. I don't know. The biggest problem, I think, that maybe everyone can agree with, is that there isn't enough Formula One teams on the grid for these guys to go into. Now, obviously, you don't want really bad, slow rookie racing drivers all over the place, but even for drivers that have had to go to another series that can then come back across, and and then they've had sort of more experience than F4, F3, F2, and then they can come back across. Nick De Vries, for example, then he, if there's extra teams on the grid, then you wouldn't hesitate about putting him into a Formula One car next season. And there was a bit of a rumor that he could have got a seat next season, but that, it does look more likely that it's going to Joe. But we still don't know. Don't you want to put any bets on, do it. But yeah, I think the problems are teams on the grid, and we would all like to see at least a couple more teams on the grid, 4 more cars. That would help. That would then make the feeder series an absolute success, because wouldn't it be great to, somebody like Robert Schwartzman, and even I feel Dan Tickton is a Formula One driver, regardless. It's only an opinion, it's not a fact of life. But I think he's at least got at least one world championship in him, if not more. Maybe a bit of Jensen Button type, person that's got one in there. Might not be a multiple, but like Lewis, but. So I'd like to see people like them get the chance. And if Dan sticks around, and we're not sure where he's going next season, we're not sure if he's Formula 2, Indy, that's the kind of rumor over there too. It's going to be quite good next year, actually, because I think it's Naomi that knows quite a lot more about Indy, because we've got Callum, we've got the drivers that are there already, we've potentially got Nico Hulkenberg going over there, we've potentially got all these drivers that we know and love, perhaps Dan Tipton. That might be something that I actually start watching next season, because there's so many recognized names that I know.
I'd love to see Dan Tickton in IndyCar. That would be amazing. Because he's not that he needs to necessarily be unleashed any more than he already is, but I think that's the kind of series where you can properly get your elbows out. But yeah, I was going to say the winners from all of this are people who like top series other than Formula One. I think we naturally have a very F1 centric view that F1 is the pinnacle, and that's what we should be all aspiring to. And I think we're seeing more and more that young drivers are doing incredibly well in IndyCar, and it's been one of the most amazing seasons that went right down to the wire. And yeah, if these young drivers are going over, they can really make a name for themselves. And even drivers like Colton Herta, who I think everyone was desperately trying to get him into FP1 in Kota a couple of weeks ago. Pato O'Ward, who's now got an F1 test as a bit of a prize for doing so well this season. It's really exciting. That's the series I'm most excited for next year. I mean, this year's Formula One has been bananas, and I love it. But IndyCar is just something else. It's great.
I think one to look out for there is the sergeant. He's the American that's already in the feeder series, and hopefully we'll see him in Formula 2 next season. And he is absolutely one to watch as well, because if some more American investors than Haas are coming into Formula 1, then of course I think that they would like some drivers to represent as well, because the American audience, from what we saw at Kota last week, was absolutely phenomenal, because the majority of that audience last week, that crowd, must have been North American, because of the COVID restrictions at the moment. So how amazing was it to see the majority crowd being American? And as we say, we've got drivers coming up through the feeder series too, so it's fabulous.
And
there also seems to be a lot more younger drivers going to the hypercar series as well. There was a time when all Le Mans drivers and all the people in sports car racing were sort of either retired Formula One drivers or retired people who have been doing other race series. But that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. That it definitely seems to be that there's a lot more young drivers getting involved in GT racing and with the introduction of the hypercar class, getting up into the higher levels of sports car racing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's increasingly a closer championship, and I think the P1 or P2 cars over recent years have been so close to the P1s and now the hypercars that it's been I suppose they can see it as a real opportunity to show their stuff. And championships like Formula E that had a smaller calendar, you could do the two in parallel, which was brilliant. I don't know how much that's the case anymore. Probably less and less. But yeah, you're totally right, and it's brilliant. It's really great to see. And as LA says, it's the best. They've all had the best possible training, something we've probably never seen before. And it's a nice problem to have that there's so many good drivers now.
Yeah, it sounds that the world of motorsport outside F1, needs a bit more attention. And yeah, it's good to see. And there's a lot of recognisable names there. Like even just talking about that circuit superstars, the people on there like Connor Daly. It's great to see those names crop up. And Roman Grosjean, who's obviously over there. It's looking good. Great stuff.
So Damien, just quickly,
you're not going to get away without telling us.
Speaking of hypercars,
yeah,
you have a new addition to your motoring stable, haven't you? Are you can tell us about how it's going to appear at Le Mans next year?
It might appear at shows for sure if we can get it going again. Simon, it's conked out a couple of times. We've had to push start it already. I know. No, we're investigating.
It must be owner issues. So come on. You haven't actually told anyone what we're talking about yet.
I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay.
And I'm going to put a picture up, and then Simon can probably tell you about it more than I can because he actually was an absolute gentleman. Drove up to Kings Lynn, and welcomed it along as we put it up on a ramp at the local college. So this is Norma. A 1959 Hillman Minx, and at that point that's at Pentney Abbey. That was yesterday. She drove there perfectly, and then when we tried to get in and start, it didn't start. so push started, got back to Kings Lynn. But yeah, that's very different from what most people expect me to have, considering I
wanted to ask Damon why a Minx. I wanted to find out the story. Why a Hillman Minx?
Why Hillman Minx?
That was my question too. Yeah.
There's a short answer and a long answer. The short answer is you'll have to wait for the article to come out on Haggerty. And the long answer would be just me reading that article. Yeah, no,
always a PR.
You know what? I'm surrounded by guys who just got in the classic car world, and for not a lot of money, to be fair, that car is such a hoot. It really is. And I was looking at getting a car which is an antidote to the modern motoring of ABS and everything electronic on your cars. But I don't have the money for something really flash, and what was an everyday car back in 1959. Oh well, it's quite a nice car back in 1959, but not a Lotus or a Jensen or something like that.
You did an extreme version of my E-Class then.
Yeah.
And you can just put the new E10 petrol in it. It doesn't need any.
It will run on it, but it will also eat it. So we don't want to do that. Yeah.
Are there any? So what do you have to do then to keep it running?
Well, the simple thing is to put super in it. There are ways of removing ethanol from petrol. Sorry, Chris.
At least for the next 5 years, you'll be able to run super unleaded. But after that, there's likely to be additives and stuff, isn't there?
Yeah, there'll be ways around it. That these engines have to be kept going somehow. So there'll be ways of doing it. And already, just on YouTube, and there's people removing ethanol from their petrol. And although E10 is quite new to the UK, it's not that new to the world. And petrol that has even higher ethanol contents out there already. So I mean, the first time I put petrol in the car, an older guy in his brand new Polo actually said, "Oh, so you're not running on 4-star anymore then, mate? How did you convert it?" And I think, that was done 20 years ago. So so fuels change, but the spirit of the car remains, and who knows where it will go in time. Hopefully I can keep it as close to original as possible. But there's a lot of pressure on some people out there for me to slam it and hot rod it, and I'm like, no. I like the fact that it looks like it's just driven offset from Heartbeat or Darling Buds of May, and hopefully maybe Si could arrange for it to appear in the background of some other TV shows in future. But yeah,
Well,
so
you must get a great reaction from people as you drive by.
oh, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. People that remember the car are gobsmacked. I drove past a guy who was about to cross, again, an older gentleman, and he was waiting to cross. But as I passed, I saw in the rearview mirror, he just didn't cross because he was just staring at the car as I drove along. He just forgot that he was crossing the road. And you get people just, the first time I drove it back to the village where I live, I was going quite slowly because it's not a fast car. And the guy behind me, yeah, really. Despite my best efforts, the guy behind me was in a new Ford Puma. And I was thinking, I'm holding him up. But as soon as I pulled off, he was on a thumbs up going, beep, 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 like that. So he absolutely loved it as well.
What does your horn sound like?
It doesn't work. I don't know yet. It's
the
got
number
a horn,
plate.
but
The number plate 404 does make me think 404. Reliability not found.
Yeah. So many pet puns and captions.
I thought it would be a little.
Probably, I don't know. I just shout out the window at the moment.
He can make his own sounds out the window. He can just change it every time.
He needs one of those Aruga horns.
No klaxons.
That's it.
No, but genuinely, really happy that Si came up to have a look at it. And a guy called Alex, Si and I kind of chatted with. He was a lecturer at the local college here in Kings Lynn, and told us all about what they're doing with the students here to kind of get the next generation of mechanics ready, basically. And it's going to be quite nice, hopefully, if I take it back to college for the youngsters to see this kind of car rather than one where you just plug a device in and it tells you the bit that needs rebooting. And I know I want to learn as well. I'm going to have to because, like I said, the thing doesn't work right now.
People are going to play pranks on you, though. It's so light. They're going to pick it up, turn it round, and you'll get to your car facing the wrong way.
You say it's like you weren't trying to push it yesterday.
You'll get used to that.
Get used to that. So yeah, there'll be updates. Social media, my social media over the last week or so has been full of it. So anyone who follows me on there is probably getting sick of it already. But there's loads more photos I've already taken. Loads more to come. I've got bits lying around the house. There's a new tail light there, Simon. We've got the gasket.
You're doing
set.
the thing properly then.
Yeah. There's a box of shock absorbers there.
On the day was the day after, wasn't it? The day after we unloaded the car from the trailer. Started up first time on the trailer, so I think we just need to find another trailer and put it back on the back of it. I'm sure it'll fire up next time, no problem.
It's fired up 6 or 7 times absolutely fine and run absolutely fine. It was just that yesterday something small will be wrong with it. It's just finding out what it is. I'm sure.
Are there owners clubs for that particular car?
Yeah, I've joined a lot of Facebook forums and owners clubs recently.
Would you consider the EV conversion for it?
We'll see.
In all due honesty, there's not enough surface area in the car to put the required engineering into converting it. It's just not big enough to make it viable. There's the boot's tiny. There's no space underneath.
And the thing is,
it's such a small engine. It's not going to use much, if any, fuel at all. Anyway, one tank will probably last a year.
Well, it doesn't sound like it's using any at the minute. Yeah.
Nice. Just pushing it everywhere. No, but some cars you can justify the cost of converting to electric because it's not a cheap process. Even if you're using an old Nissan Leaf or something, this car didn't cost me a lot, and it's not worth it. It's if I was going to do that, I'd want a car that could justify that extra outlay. But for this, the part of the charm of it is that it just sounds like an old lawnmower, to be quite frank. And
do you need to? Are there special considerations for storage or anything over winter, or can you just run it all year?
Well, it needs looking after. It was intended to be used as a family car, so if everything was perfect and new on it, I'm sure it'd be fine. But no, I'm going to be obviously putting it away. In the next month, maybe. I've got a cover to put on it until then, and looking at some underground storage, which is probably going to cost me more than the car did. But we'll treat it gently. 62-year-old girl. But it's fantastic. It really does take you back to the proper days of motoring.
Have you given it a name?
Yes, Norma Jean. It's got a bit of a what we call like a beauty spot on its face, a little bit of rust. But Marilyn Monroe's real name was Norma Jean.
It was named after Norma Major.
Yeah. Yes, but we haven't settled on a hashtag yet. I know Simon suggested a few different Naughty Minx hashtags, but we'll see.
Dirty minx.
Dirty
Filthy
minx.
minx. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, Si, calm yourself down now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's enthusiastic.
He's just woken up. It's just...
I'd love. I've got a bunch of 50 dresses that I bought over the summer. Oh my god, I'd just love to take some photographs by that car in those dresses. I think it'd be amazing.
That's it. Hopefully, it'll be a Goodwood revival next year. We'll see if we can make something special around it, but there's lots of things to slot into place before then.
You need to get to the NEC to get hold of any spare parts you need, mate. You need to get to the Classic Car Show. Come and see me.
I've already nominated myself for that one, Chris. Don't worry. I know. Yeah.
This is the ZoomZoomers project car now. It's not just mine. It's like, yeah, if anyone sees anything that would fit a minx, just get it, because I'll probably need it at some point. But anyway, enough talk about Norma. Like I say, social media is a place to go if you want more of that, and there will be articles coming out, which I'm sure we'll share around a lot. Let's move on to, I've got a couple of quizzes. We've got the red-green questions, which are actually quite quick fire this time round, and after that I'm going to pitch you guys against each other in the quiz before I hand over to LA and we can talk about scary stories because it's Halloween after all. So the first thing I'll do is the red-green questions, if you guys have got a red and a green thing to hand.
I've also got a very needy dog who keeps trying to jump on my lap. So
What's the dog called?
Einstein.
Einstein.
Is he red or
we would
green?
like to see the dog.
You
Come
can't
on,
say that
Einstein.
and then not show the dog. I mean,
Yeah, hello, Einstein.
it's the rule of home working. Hello.
Yeah.
My firstborn.
Aw.
Einstein can take part in red green as well. Okay, so the first one is actually suggested by was it Simon? I'm scrolling through the scroll. Yeah, so we'll go for the F1 World Champion this year because it's so close. Red for the Red Bull, so Max Verstappen red, and then Lewis green. Come on, Alan, commit.
Oh, come on.
Just to be different.
Different to everyone else. I hadn't even looked at the fact it was everyone different. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, next one.
Apart from
Green
Cam.
if you agree, red if you disagree. I am happy to use the word chod.
What does it mean?
What does it mean?
It's hard to define.
How do you spell it?
CHOD. It relates to cars.
Chod.
Have you not come across chod before?
No.
There's a mix here.
It means basically, an old piece of rubbish. Say something that you'd find at the festival in the Unexceptional. It was easily forgetful and not in great condition.
Is that not what the Americans call a lemon?
No.
Well, that's what we call a lemon, but yeah.
Oh, all right.
That is it, definitely.
But it's the stuff
That's
that's
what
like the
determines
average
different
Joe
things.
stuff you used to see all the time, like your Nissan Bluebirds and your Astras.
A belly button car.
Oh, everyone's got one.
Everyone's got one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but if it's in Super Nick, then it's not chod, I don't think.
No,
it's
exactly.
got to be a bit
That's
rough.
it. It's very, it's in the eye of the beholder, and I feel it's misused an awful lot.
Wow. We need to have a definition.
Love you,
for this.
Alan. Quite right.
Like it is. I think I see all sorts of stuff.
There should be a chod category at the Festival of the Unexceptional.
Okay.
But it's yes, there should. You're right.
Right.
Excellent. Okay, these next ones are pitching cars against each other. So I can't remember if we've done a few of these before, so apologies if we have. But we'll go for which is better, basically. Red for muscle cars and green for sports cars.
No, I don't know.
Oh, LA, you want to go red? I
I
can't
did-
believe
I
you've gone
did,
green.
I would have thought you'd have gone red, LA.
You know I did. Right, I'm changing my mind.
Excellent. Okay, the next one. Let's go for red for tin top / GT car racing, and green for open wheelers. So F1, Formula cars. Red for the tin tops, green for the open wheelers. Okay. Okay, next one. Red for the Jeep Wrangler and green for Land Rover Defender.
That one, definitely that one. Well, this one in particular, but that's not a Jeep Wrangler or a Defender, but never mind.
Okay, cool.
There's also
Next
the
one.
featured car in Gilmore Girls. So if you need any other reason to vote for it,
That's
all day long.
That's what we all go for.
Netflix at the minute. He's on something.
Okay, next one. Red for the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo and green for Subaru Impreza WRX STI. Mixed bag
Difficult.
again. Mixed
So
bag. I've only driven the
difficult.
Mitsubishi, so I'm not sure what the Subaru's like, but okay.
It's the same with more burble. That's all.
Should we say that Neo would have said the Subaru then if he was here?
Probably. Yeah, but you never know with Near. He might have some obscure fact about it that goes, oh no, that can't be considered. This one I know where Chris is going to go with this one. So red for Volkswagen Golf GTI and green for Peugeot 205 GTI.
It's tempting to choose red just to be contra Chris, but
Excellent.
I don't want to ever get on the wrong side of Alan.
no, he's
Next one. Red for the Ariel Atom and green for a Caterham 7. Do you want your engine in the front or the back?
So the Ariel is one of the few sort of racy cars I've driven.
Ah, okay. Not a
Really
lot
fun to
for the
drive.
Ariel. Okay, cool. Next one. A red for Tesla. Just wait for everyone to get the green out. And green for Polestar.
I don't know what a Polestar is.
Ah,
it's like a sort of designer Volvo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
EV Volvo.
Apart from
Fun
the
to say,
Volvos
isn't
that are EVs.
They're boxier in style.
Yeah, the boxiness is a huge
Just
part of its
before-
charm for me.
I'm not very happy with
Not
Volvo at the
very good.
moment.
Oh, of course.
It's broken again.
I only like the Tesla Roadster.
Just before coming on this evening, I watched what's his name? Is it Misha from the Nürburgring channel, driving one of the Polestar 2, ran the Nürburgring and overtaking 911 GT3s and all sorts of stuff. It's quite an interesting video if you haven't seen it. And he's chatting away while overtaking all these supercars in a 4-door electric hatchback.
I was at a track day at Cadwell on Saturday, and there was someone there in a Jaguar I-Pace who was making progress. Yeah, I wouldn't have considered that either. Yeah,
It's quite a large car, quite a narrow back.
it was taking up.
quite a heavy
There
car
wasn't
as
that
well.
much chance to pass it. Put it that way. Yeah.
I can think it was quite lurchy, having driven light speed.
Did it get airborne over the
Quite
jump?
terrifying.
I was never close enough to see it do it.
Need some serious speed to get one of them airborne. So
Final one of the red greens before we do a proper quiz. Green for saloons and red for estate cars.
Oh, wrong one.
Okay. So I said red for estates, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, a lot of love for the estate car. Wow. Saloons, especially kind of these mid-size, the Mondeo-esque cars. Just don't see them anymore, do you? Just saloons seem to have just disappeared.
Everything's a Nissan Juke.
Yeah, there is that.
Ford
Apologies
Puma. Oh,
for
it's
everyone
making
who
its own
drives a Juke.
Juke. Oh, hate him.
I don't travel light, so it's nice going away and don't have to fold your seat down. It's great.
Excellent. Okay, proper quiz coming up then. Before, like I say, I've got to disappear and hand over to LA to see what happens when that happens. So anyone watching along, have your own guesses here. But what we're going to do is look at what. Are you right, Simon? You're going to get a paper and pen.
Lost my pen. I must have eaten it. Damn.
If not, if you've got a phone that you can just jot down a note on or something like that and just hold it up. Because what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you a question with a number as the answer and see who can get closest. Now, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to pitch you against each other, one against one after this first round. So I'll put, say, Ben against Cammy and then see who gets closest to see who gets through to the final. And what we're going to use for the numbers is our good friends at Car and Classic and their classified ads. And I'm going to ask you what the cheapest vehicle for a particular brand is for sale on there. So a few kind of clarifications, caveats. So these will be actual cars. They're not parts of cars. They're not ones that require restoration. This is the cheapest you can get, where you can just go and it perhaps needs a little bit of fixing up, but it's not a restoration project. Okay, so if I said the cheapest Porsche, I'm not talking about something which is being sold for a couple of £100. It's also nothing that says going to auction, where they just put an estimate on there. So these are the ones that you can find on there that are genuinely for sale, that you could buy that manufacturer for. Now, apart from me, there are 9 people on this, which is tricky for a tournament. So I need to get that down to 8 so we can have quarterfinals. So the first thing I'm going to do is ask a question, and the person who's furthest away from the answer will be knocked out in the first round. So what I need you to do, without Googling or going on to Car and Classic, is tell me what you think the price in pounds, sorry for those not used to using pounds, the price in pounds for the cheapest Aston Martin for sale at the moment on Car and Classic is. So whoever's furthest away will be knocked out in this first round. Give me a thumbs up or something if you've got an answer, and then we'll have a look at them all. Okay. It's hard to kind of guess, isn't it? LA's still going. Craig, you got one?
Any Aston Martin.
Yeah, this is the Eddie Aston Martin, which you could just there's one just above it, which is basically it caught fire, half of it's missing. So this is the next Aston Martin. So you've got to try and think what model might that be? Blah, 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 blah. LA, have you got an answer? She's got a grin. Okay. Let's see your answers.
I've written it very small, actually.
Oh, okay. 20 grand, 70. Is that 17,999 from Alan? 85,000, 27, 20.
Yeah.
3,200.
You can't see mine. It's 13,000, I thought.
Ben, I missed yours. 37. I think the furthest away is Richard. Richard went high. Richard went high. I'll share my screen if you like.
What did Richard put?
85.
85.
Oh,
it'll be a DB7.
That's a
DB7
lot for a
all day
DB7,
long,
isn't it?
It'll be a DB7. It'll be about 20 grand.
Oh, nice.
That red one there is 18,000.
God, I was a quid off. Only a quid off.
Yeah, I know. I
guess.
I thought you'd been Googling.
No, genuinely not. Genuinely
This one
not.
that requires restoration, etc. So this £18,000 one.
Gee.
Well done, Alan. But unfortunately, that means I'm going to have to cross out Richard. Sorry,
Alan,
you don't make it through.
Alan, what did you put?
I put 17,999, just trying to guess it. And I thought I was going low, actually. I was thinking with maybe 21 grand.
I was going to say 10 at first and then rejigged it to 20, but still thought
No, I was figuring they'd be asking about 20 for
Who put 85? If anyone's selling an Aston Martin out there, go to Richard. He'll well overpay.
Okay, let's go for some more then. So the next one, so this is down to quarterfinals, and the first teams against each other are LA and Ben. So I want LA and Ben. I want you to tell me what you think the cheapest DeLorean for sale on there is right now. Now it is in America, but they're showing the price in pounds. So I want the price in pounds of the cheapest DeLorean. That's just for LA and Ben. Give me a thumbs up when you've got an answer.
Why do I get eliminated first? I was next in line with my 20 grand.
You're not getting eliminated if you beat Ben.
Okay, let you.
Let me know when you got an answer, LA. Ben, have you got one?
Give me a sec. I've got to think about this.
Feel free to also write your other answers down, guys, if you want to have a go. But it's just between LA and Ben to see if they can get through to the semis. Right, LA.
So I know Cammy would know the answer to this, but anyway, I haven't got a clue.
Maybe. Go on then, LA. Let's see yours. And let's see yours, Ben, as well.
You texted me, Cammy.
Is that 35k?
Yeah.
And 48k. Cammy, you're through to the next round.
Cammy or LA?
Wait, what? Now
I'll share my screen.
Confused how I got.
What do you? How did Cammy get?
How did I get through?
Cammy get involved?
It's LA. I meant LA. Sorry. That's because you said Cammy, you'd know. Sorry.
No, you said it now. I'm through.
I'm sorry.
LA. Sorry, Ben. I'm sorry.
I'm so confused. What's going on?
I bet everyone's confused. Here, I'm going to share my screen again. So you'll see that there is, there's a few for sale under 30 grand. So the cheapest one for sale is 26,665. So
I almost went 30 as well. Yes, sorry, Ben.
Ben's out. Ben's
I
out.
started with 35.
Did you? Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought, oh,
Would
I
anyone
quite
ever
Is
buy
it
like
it?
interesting that
Didn't
every
realise
photo
it was
there
in the
looked
US.
exactly the same, Damo?
It's the same
Every
dealer,
photo
yeah.
was exactly the same.
Yeah. You have to go down quite far before you get one that's a bit different.
The answer
okay.
is yes, yes, Nemi, but not to drive.
Correct. That's what I do too.
Right, Alan versus Chris next then.
Oh God.
Alan and Chris. How do you know your Hummers? So the cheapest Hummer for sale right now on Car and Classic. So this isn't obviously for any Hummer for sale. This is on Car and Classic. What do we reckon?
Is that any Hummer model?
Any Hummer model, anything that's listed as
So
the
an
make
H-
is Hummer.
Okay, so an H2.
So it'll be H2,
or an H3.
and it's going to be 15 grand.
Is that your answer, Chris?
Yeah,
I can't
H2,
believe he
15
said it
grand.
out loud before I'd written something down.
This
So
is
he's
where
got
Alan.
£1 either way.
I've written
Yeah.
down 18.
So Chris said 15. I will share my screen.
I reckon 18 because of the ridiculous market at the minute.
Drum roll.
9499.
Wow.
Chris, your 15 grand gets you through to the next round. And unfortunately, Alan.
Still a rip-off at that. They are a total and utter sack of poop.
So
It's
Chris,
probably better than my Volvo, though. I could probably afford that.
No, Ellie, you're
With
better
renting
with
being
your
what it is, you could
Volvo.
live in it.
GMC Suburban with a load of plastic tat on it.
Yes.
It
I'd
would
rather
the
a
electric
Suburban.
work.
yeah. A bright yellow Hummer H3. That was an H3. Okay, so the next couple, we've got Simon versus Naomi.
Oh, for God's sake.
Oh, sorry, Naomi, I stitched you right up.
Not necessarily. I put 23 grand down for the Hummer answer, so not.
This one might be a bit more up your street, Simon, but we'll see. What do you reckon on Car and Classic the cheapest larder for sale is up for? So if you want to give me a thumbs up when you've got an answer for the cheapest larder.
That's going to go into minus figures, isn't it?
I've got absolutely no idea, so I'm either going to be ridiculous or, well, are you ready, Si?
I'm ready. Yeah.
All right, let's have them.
This is a horrible, but no, I mean this is a horrible one. Mine's
549 and
995 written
Good.
backwards.
I'm
995.
not humiliating myself then.
Yeah, you're not too far from each other. I'm just going to share my screen.
It's £70,000.
It is £4,200.
Bloody hell.
Oh no!
What?
The next one's £6,000. There's not many
No
for
way.
sale, but yeah. So that one there, apart from a sales brochure, which is only £6, an actual car, £4,200.
Crikey.
For
That's
a
a good
larder.
investment for someone.
Ridiculous.
It's more than my Hillman was, that's for sure. So there we go. So that means that Simon gets through. Sorry, Naomi.
I
No,
don't
it's
actually
only-
think
it's
mine
only fair.
counts. That's way off. I don't think I deserve that.
They're tricky, these, aren't they?
Mhm.
Craig and Cammy, then I think are the pair that remain.
Oh, going against the expert.
Well, we'll see. What
I'm
we're
not
looking
an
for-
expert in buying classic cars, so
we're going for Lamborghini, not tractors. No tractors, just
No,
actual
okay.
Lamborghini cars.
Let me just quickly make a listing.
None of the good stuff, yeah.
So give me a thumbs up if you've got an answer for the cheapest Lamborghini currently for sale on Car and Classic. That isn't a write-off or blah, 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 blah. Craig's got one.
Yep.
Cammy's got one. Okay, let's have them.
Oh, why am I blurring everything?
Is that 12
60.
and a half
Oh, I've said
12 and a-
60
yeah.
grand.
12 and a half.
and 60?
Oh, wow. That's
One of
right.
you is
Euro
quite
code?
close.
I didn't think of the old,
Close.
like the Mura crap.
Mura would be massive money.
You know, the Mura's going to be crazy, man. It'd be something like a
Yeah,
Silhouette or
Iraq.
something.
Oh,
That's a Gallardo.
Gallardo.
You're kidding me.
There you go. So that one there is just going to auction.
Oh, it
And
wasn't
there's-
far off.
Way
65,
higher than I would
950.
have expected.
Yeah, same.
And there's plenty of them about, but this is just obviously apart from tractors. So Cammy gets that one. Unfortunately, Craig, you're out.
well, I'll just have to sit here and drink then.
So we're through to the semis. So first one, we've got LA against Chris. I think that's right.
No, that's not fair.
We're not going to do Peugeot, don't worry.
Oh, oh.
What we are going to do is Pagani.
I don't even know what that looks like.
You're gonna have a guess then.
It's
it
really
Italian?
It's pointy
Italian.
Italian and fast.
Sounded it.
LA, so
Pagani. Is it like
I'll write it down this time. I'm going to go for.
Oh,
I will say there's only 2 for sale, if that helps.
What does it look like? Is it like a little car, or is it like a little baby car? Is it some big fancy thing?
Big
fancy
bananas
Nice supercar.
hypercar thing.
Type of
Stop
car,
giving
not
us so
car.
many clues. Stop it.
She needs one.
Yeah, worth about.
I still haven't got a clue, have I? Have you
This is
met
it.
it?
There's only a couple of them for sale, so
We're
it's
not
like-
prepared to say
Oh.
we're not prepared to say worth about in case we make a complete tit of ourselves.
Yeah. Okay, Chris has got an answer. LA, hopefully you can't see what he's written.
Go higher than that, I suggest.
LA, write your answer.
Well, I have to put what I've written now anyway. Oh my god, no way! I don't even know what that is.
It's all right. This is why it's a quiz. Sometimes you know, sometimes you don't.
Well, I'm going to be out then.
What have you got?
I put 150.
150 grand, you never know.
Oh, 1.5 million. That's right. Yes,
That's-
1.5
yes, that
million.
sounds about
That's
right,
what
yeah.
she put.
That's
I'm
what I
sure
heard
that's
her
what-
say.
yeah, that's what I heard. Glad you heard it too, Alan. Glad you heard
Probably
that.
buy you the wheels, wouldn't it?
I just didn't know where to put my dots.
There we go.
Told you.
Oh.
Chris, I'm going to definitely give that one to you. Sorry, LA. It was a tricky one. Pagani.
They
Three
still
out of
look
nine.
absolutely brilliant, I think.
Is it
Uh,
not- There isn't
dramatic.
one Zonda there. Not one Pagani Zonda.
No, I was quite surprised.
But this is car and classic. You never know. I bet if you want on piston heads.
Car
or
and
something.
classics is a bit low rent for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Zondas have
Sorry,
gone
Chris.
ridiculous.
Sorry, Chris.
Oh, have they?
Sorry, Pollock. Yeah.
Okay, so we got another. So Chris, you through to the final, and we have Simon against Cammy for the next one. Simon against Cammy. You've probably heard of this company. We want the cheapest Ferrari.
Hmm.
308 GT4 Dino.
Yeah, sort of.
Simon against Cammy. Let me know when you've got an answer.
Dino's the cover car of Octane this month, isn't it?
I love me a Dino.
But not a 246. I'm talking 308.
But then the 456s and stuff are quite cheap these days, relatively speaking.
Or
Okay.
so cheap.
Okay,
Okay.
Cammy's got one. Simon, you got one.
Yeah.
Let's see those numbers.
Cammy first.
40k.
Oh, 49,995.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna share my screen. Da, da, da.
Oh,
Oh, Cammy. Yes.
Cammy.
Oh, God, look
27
what-
grand.
Look
Oh,
what I
bloody hell.
I
I
originally put 30 and changed my mind.
Ooh, well, you still
Wow.
won.
Oh.
still one.
I hadn't checked that. I'd said 27, but I wasn't thinking of a Mondial Cabrio.
Yeah, I knew Mondial definitely straight away, and I thought, oh, they'll be bananas. They'll be
Right.
no.
Thought back
Well
to
done,
that old
Cammy. Well
Top
done.
Gear. Thank you.
Nailed that. Nailed that.
So
I
we
was
need the
thinking back to that
final.
old Top Gear episode, you know, where we got a Dino and he said that's not a Ferrari, that's a
Okay, this is the hardest of the hard.
Here we go.
We're going for so it's finals between Chris and Cammy. And what is the cheapest Proton for sale on Car and Classic right now?
Pound.
No clues, LA.
Hey, what are you drinking? Just out of interest. It's like a Guinness cocktail or something.
It's just Guinness and black
Right.
in crystal glass. as you
ready.
You've
Love
both got an
that.
answer?
It's very fancy.
It depends. It depends what's there. A weird.
Yeah, it depends what's there.
Yeah,
The
There's only
Lotus one.
there's only one Proton for sale on Car and Classic right now. It's a low mileage 1.3 GLS, 41,000
Oh, then I
miles.
think I'm going okay.
Okay, what have you got? 1250, Cammy,
I
3999.
thought it might have done the Lada thing and gone up more than it is worth.
Ready?
Boom.
Ah, Chris, well done. So
Oh, well done.
1495.
Beige as well.
I just thought there could have been one of those Lotus Protons. Oh well.
Good. Congratulations, Chris, for being the champion of knowing what classic cars are worth on car and classic.
Thank you. I enjoyed that, Damo. It was good.
Of
Good
course, because
fun.
you won. Everyone enjoys things they win.
Nerd.
Richard's just sat there going, "I've been so bored for 10 minutes."
Wow.
Yeah.
He's like, yes, I've been out of this.
What's Chris won?
He hasn't won anything. He just knows that he's the best, and that's all he wants.
The
really.
respect.
The respect. But for now, I've got to leave. So what I'm going to do is hopefully hand you over to LA now while I scoot off. Now, in theory, all I do is hand over the reins to her, and then I can scoot off. Hopefully, that won't cut the live feed at YouTube, but if it does, we will put the whole video up because it's being recorded anyway. So LA, if you're ready, I'll just hand over to you. You can have a quick chat about scary moments in cars and scary cars because it's Halloween, of course. You may see a notification in just a moment when I make you the host.
I'm on tenterhooks here.
That's all right.
Well, you know,
Like, don't cut the blue wire, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is.
Got the red one.
until next time, guys. I'll catch you later.
Bye,
Catch you
Damo.
later, Damien.
Oh.
Oh, so we're still live,
so
but
the live is still working, but the recording.
Oh,
right,
still
okay.
working. That's a good.
Schrodinger's recording.
That is
Right,
good.
now he's gone. Is there anything you want to talk about Damo?
Let's all talk about it. No,
Let
come
me
on
have
now.
a
Let's
look
take
on,
some control now. Come on.
You're meant to be in charge.
I'm going to have a look on ZoomZoomers YouTube to see if we are still.
You can record
that's a
it on
good
the bottom of my screen anyway.
That's definitely a good
Will it,
plan.
will it only record from now, though?
Yes, it will, just from now.
We are still
Hey.
live.
It might be worth doing just so we
we're
can
still-
splice it together if we need to.
We're
We're still live.
Yeah. So nobody's just seen that completely seamless transition there.
You can't just, you can't just cut a live broadcast in the same way that you can, edit a podcast, can't you, Alan?
Not. No.
Okay, that's me.
Nice.
Yeah, only you can do it, I think. So
That's
LA,
quite
have you
good.
spray painted that pumpkin or is it an ornament?
That one's an ornament.
Very nice.
That one isn't. They're not.
They're cool.
I wanted to. I didn't want to just use them for one night because it's the very first time in my life I've ever carved and had pumpkins.
have you eaten the inside? Because we bought one the other day and it said, "You can eat me." It's like, really? People don't know this?
I know, but I really don't fancy eating these after they absolutely stink.
They get all
No,
smoky
I'm
as
just
well.
getting one more night out of them, and I noticed Naomi is as well. Don't think anyone else will tell you. No. Okay
we
then.
made the effort, LA. At least someone did.
I know, right. I
Sorry,
almost
was it you that drew on with a Sharpie? Was it you?
Yes, it was mega lame. That I was literally heading out. I completely forgot about pumpkins, and that's the thing, isn't it? That's how you let trick or treaters know that you're taking part. Completely forgot. Bolted out to Sainsbury's. I was kind of nearly running over children in the road as I was heading off to the supermarket. grabbed a few, and I went, "I've never carved a pumpkin in my life. Genuinely, I've never done it." And I went, "Right, Sharpie, wife." And that's how that happened. Yeah.
It looked
I
good.
have
It
though.
looked
I've
good.
got Sharpie marks around my holes. You can see my Sharpie, but I did one thing. I had a really, really blonde moment, like seriously, because I wanted to do like the masks, from Squid Game. So I was going to do like the triangle one, even though he's not there. So I started cutting my triangle out. You know what I'm
I know where you're going.
Look, I even actually managed to cut it out, yeah. And then I was like, no, well, that's not the part I want to come out. I want that to stay in. I was like, how's it supposed to stay in? Suspended animation. So I was like, look, shove it back in. It's fine.
My brother-in-law, if I can get that,
That's brilliant.
carved
That's
a Moana
fantastic.
one
Wow.
for my nephew. Isn't that? And he is the least artistic person in the world.
That's so
ever.
cool.
That's brilliant.
Really impressive. So
I had to do 3. I had to do myself, Bex, and my son. So I had to do 3 of them, different sizes. So we had Daddy Pumpkin, Mummy Pumpkin, and Little Rowan Pumpkin. But they've
Very
all gone
nice.
rotten and ended up in the bin now.
Okay, so I think it was on Chris's suggestion, was it Chris, that we talk about our scary car stories and what has terrified us in your car. So it can be funny, it can be really scary, whatever. So on my screen, I've got Ben first. So we'll go to Ben and take it away, Ben.
Hello. So scariest car. There's been a few, but and really sad to say, sorry, Simon, but the Volvo V70 D5 was my scariest car. One, because of the maintenance. It had catastrophic bills because it's such a hugely complex twin turbo diesel engine. Two, it caught fire at least once, and it was only a minor fire, and I had to call fire brigade by the side of the A3, and then like 4 fire engines turned up, and it was like the tiniest fire in the world, and I was like just standing there with 4 fire engines around me. And for the third reason, it did try to kill me a few months later by almost jettisoning its wheel and at least one wheel bolt, and the wheels hadn't been off it like ever. And I've no idea what happened. And I was driving through the Peak District and I could hear this slapping sound. And that was the wheel. That was a missing bolt, and the wheel just slapping against the heart. And I was like, yeah, today's not a good day. And that is just because it tried to kill me twice.
So you feel like it was a possessed car, a bit like Christine?
I seem to have, that's how I'm done.
Brilliant, love it. Yes, he's got a possessed Stephen King car. So next on my that side, Chris.
Sorry, I missed that completely.
Okay,
Everything just
mine's-
kind of went blank.
Oh, that's all right, Ben. Don't worry about it. That's fine. It was a good possessed car story. I like it. So go on, Chris. Your go.
Mine are both scary experiences in cars, and they both happen to be in Porsches. So the first one is from the Classic Car Show, the NEC, funnily enough. A few years ago, I went out with a chap on one of these charity ride things where you can pay to go out in nice cars. So I paid to go out in a Porsche 911 930 Turbo that had also been tuned by Ruff, who are a Porsche tuner. And it was pissing down with rain in Birmingham. And it's a 934 speed with a very, very, very big turbo on it. And yeah, pretty terrifying, pretty scary. And then the other one is also in a Porsche. This was a 964 3.8 RSR at the Bugatti circuit at Le Mans. I managed to sweet talk myself into the passenger seat of a Swiss car that was just there with the Swiss Porsche Owners Club, and had a ride out in this car. That's a picture of it, if you can see me in the passenger seat. 3.8 RSR, very special car. Got about 10 laps into it and wasn't feeling that great. It was a hot day, very fast car, high G-forces, started feeling a bit ill. I was like, I don't think I can do much more. He starts to pull over, and just as he starts to pull over, I'm sick inside my helmet, fill all the visor up, everything right to the top. And then it's dripping on this guy's like £1 million 911 racing car. Yeah, pretty horrific. So that's my scary stories.
That is horrendous. I will have nightmares about that, Chris.
It was horrible. Yeah. It was all at my nose and in my eyes. It was horrendous.
Oh.
Well, you were trying to catch it as well. No.
And then when we got back, obviously I had to clean this guy's car. This guy had like a very expensive Porsche with an awful lot of money. He wanted to have his track day experience. I'd kind of ruined it for him. Yeah, very bad.
Yeah, you should have mentioned something a bit sooner, Chris, maybe. I bet he's never forgot that. As long as I bet that's his story on his version of the Zoomers as well.
There's nothing worse than having this amazing experience and having to like bring up the courage to say we need to stop. Like I've been there too, actually in a Porsche as well. It didn't go quite that far, Chris, but at the Porsche Experience Center in Silverstone, we were going for another lap, and I had to say, I'm sorry, we've got to go back. I couldn't handle it.
There's nothing I could do. I'm harnessed in, and it's got a cage. It would have taken me, quite a while to get out of that car anyway. There's nothing I could do. There's nothing I could do.
I did it on a bus once. The guy wouldn't pull over. I'm like, just stop the bus like right now. And he wouldn't stop the bus till the bus stopped. So it was his own fault. Sorry. Anyway, that's not my story. Love it. Craig, you're next.
Thankfully, mine is a bit less, well, that way, if you will. It's not even really a car, it's a cart. The last time I actually went go-karting, I guess, is I wouldn't really call it a horror story, but it was a bit of a, well, it's a wide-eyed moment for sure. So it's around about this time of year, I reckon about 3-4 years ago, was the last time I went go-karting with a part of a work functions, part of the Autosport brand, if you will. And some of the people were asked to invite along some of their chums, and of course, being quite a lot of the journalists there, they decided to invite a bunch of touring car drivers and so forth along. So it was very cold, it was very greasy out there, and it was the first time I've been karting in a kart that powerful, and I was just totally out of my depth. It was quite incredible. So as me sort of going into a corner, and then I'm realizing, oh, I've gone way too quick. So I'm having to correct, and I'm making about 6 or 7 corrections in the middle of a corner, a very fast corner, thinking, okay, I must be like right on the limit. And then I'm realizing, no, I'm going very, very slow because I've got touring car driver Rob Austin just sweeping around my outside. And, there's several other, I say high profile, but like drivers of note that were there as well, Ricky Collard, Callan O'Keefe, that I can recall off the top of my head. Just generally several other like really quick cars from the Autosport brand, if you will. So plus my joints just totally fell apart during that evening because, well, my joints just don't do too well in the cold. So it was a bit of a horror show in terms of the driving quality, I think, to say the least. Spun off several times. Thankfully, I didn't like crash too hard or anything like that. But
Did you scare yourself?
Yeah, I very much scared myself. I haven't stepped in a go-kart since.
And is that why you don't drive? No,
well, it's not necessarily that, but it's more a case of like, I'm not going back in a go-kart again for a very long time after that, for sure, especially in conditions like that, because it was so cold and greasy. Like I said, it's like about this time of year as well. So it was pretty grim out there, to say the least.
Well, they say if you fall off the horse, you've got to get back on it. So that's definitely one of our Zoomer meetings next year. That's for us all to go karting, and we got to see Craig in a kart.
Can I just like stand at the bar and commentate or something?
No.
The thing is that you'll probably still be quicker than me. So
I'll be driving Miss Daisy at the back, so it's fine. Don't worry about it. Right, okay. Richard, we've not heard from you for a while, so we're going to go to Richard.
Okay. Well, aside from writing a car off into a ditch and having a car have an axle bolt loose that meant the back axle was a bit wobbly, both of mine too are experiences in cars. Both proper racing cars. Let me just find the pictures. One was in Spain round Ascari in a Golf GTI touring car.
That's nice.
And although the guy in it was their test driver and he was perfectly very safe, there's a picture of me in there with glasses pushed right up on my face and but the speed he was, I think we only did 2 laps, but the speed he was going was horrendous. I think because, as Chris said, you can feel the G forces, the cornering forces, and while it was exhilarating, it was also bloody scary as well. I was kind of thinking, are you going to brake now or not? And yeah, we got back. It was fine. I wasn't sick. That's a start. But the second time was the year after. That was 2018. I'm just trying to find one of my pictures that I saved earlier on. And the other one was at an Hyundai event Can't find the picture now. Oh, there it is. And they had a guy taking us around in an I-20 rally car around an old gravel pit. And that was very scary as well, because again, you know he's safe, you know he'll look after you, but you were sitting down so low, you couldn't see where you were going. You thought you were going to hit stuff. And it was just, it was quite scary. And you get out and you think, you realize how much we have a new respect for the people who drive them, because there's no way could I drive them that quickly or, around those kind of obstacles. So yeah,
rally cars are always sideways. Rally cars are always at weird angles, drifting around stuff, which is not how you drive.
This did pivot. You did feel you were pivoting around the middle in the car. It was quite amazing, but also scary at the same time, because you were aware that you thought he was going to hit stuff, but of course he wouldn't. But yeah, so they were both scary, but they're both fun as well.
Yeah, but I mean, I think we've got to admit that someone that does it day in, day out, week in, week out is obviously going to be used to driving those kind of things. But, us normal people that don't get to do it even often, even if you did it once a year, I don't think that's often enough to be able to handle it like some people can. So, I'd just be grateful you've had that opportunity, because, I think it'd be excellent for any of us to do that. So, yeah, but definitely scary, speed, corners. I think probably the fear as well is of damaging somebody's very expensive car, right? For no reason.
Yeah, well, they've obviously got your life in their hands, but they know what they're doing. But that doesn't always stop cars from doing what they do.
Mm.
So it's like,
yeah, I heard tell of that event and that it looked just as scary from the outside as it was. The way it was
a rally stage must be the scariest passenger ride of all time. I can't imagine
because you were sitting so low. I could only really see over the door card on the passenger door, and you're on the wrong side of the car anyway. Were you on the right side of the car if you were driving, but because it was left-hand drive, it was.
But your feet were going like that.
Yeah, I think instinctively you do that.
You do, definitely. Right, Alan, you're up.
Mine has to be quite a while ago now, driving the Nürburgring in admittedly slightly tuned diesel Yaris, and it was the Easter weekend, and the Nürburgring it's just the big weekend for people to go and do the tourist laps, or at least it was back then, and it was mostly terrifying, because there's loads of people who just didn't care, and I knew, and the folk that I was with had to get, I had to drive back to Glasgow. This was my daily driver, and these folk in just sort of rented C classes and stuff who really just didn't give a whatever. So you got that, and you got the motorbikes, because they did motorbikes on the track at the same time, and you've got people like Sabine Schmidt doing the ring taxi rides, and just seemingly people testing their race cars, and it was absolutely terrifying. And I've done it, I've been there, got the t-shirt. I don't really want to do it again. I was quite happy, when I went to the Nürburgring 24, that there was no driving on the track and stuff, because I have been there, done it, crapped myself on the way around. Thank you very much. I'm not a driving god.
Oh, absolutely love it. It's brilliant. All right, Star, your turn to scare us.
Right. Well, I think mine's probably a little bit similar to Ben's, actually. Mine is not necessarily like something bad happened to the car. Well, maybe it was, but mine's a proper eerie Halloween thing. It goes back to 2004, I think, 4 or 5. And I was, for charity, I was daily driving a car from the 1920s. So I daily drove this car that I owned from the 1920s every day. If I had to go somewhere, the shops, pretty inconvenient. And I've got a picture, but I don't know if it will appear on camera. It's a really big square. Actually, I'm being really dumb. I've got
a model you've got
here. Yes, it's there. Thank you, Naomi. That's absolutely right. Yes, I've got a model of it there. So that's a 1930 Packard. So so just think Anthill Mob or Al Capone, something like that. and it was a late. It was by the end of the year, so I'd nearly kind of finished the challenge. It was 2004 or 5, so there was no social media, Twitter and Facebook stuff didn't exist. You just kind of had to spread the word by carrier pigeon or smoke signals, and it was a really late, kind of like a late December night, and I was driving back from somewhere. And the car I'd had for a couple of years and restored, I bought it from the second owner, and he had passed away while the car was being shipped to the UK. And his name was Cooper. So that was his first name. He was Cooper. I forget his surname actually, but that was his name. And as I was driving back through this kind of unlit country lanes in a car with nothing more than candles for headlights, and most of it worked, I heard his name. So I heard his name being spoken next to me as I was driving at, the dizzy heights of 25 miles an hour. And I'd pinned it down to wind coming in past one of the doors. So it was wind that was coming in, and I was interpreting every now and again when you heard it, it was his name being spoken in like an eerie sort of way. But that sound didn't change. It was always the wind making the sound of his name being spoken softly in an eerie way. I can't replicate it, but it was really eerie. And the moment I twigged that, the car shut off. No, down. That was it. Off. Just went. And then I had to cruise to a stop and got it started up straight away, and then got home, no problem at all. But the moment I realised that's Cooper, off. Really eerie. So it wasn't Halloween, but I thought now that really had me. And I've been in all sorts of terrible other situations in cars, as I'm sure we all have. That's the one that sticks in as the real eerie, can't explain it. It didn't make any other noise. That is his name being spoken. Anyone, I didn't have a sound recorder. Anyone in the car would have gone, yep, that's the name Cooper. Definitely, I can hear that for about 2 or 3 minutes until I tweet, oh, that's off. Car shut off. Done. That was it. No reason.
Jesus.
Got chills.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
God.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I sold it
Yeah,
in
so
January.
do I.
Funny that, isn't it? That went.
Yeah,
That
I
went.
know. I can't imagine why. Yeah.
No, it is a chilling story, because I think even the biggest non-believer of any of that kind of stuff, if they were in that car at that moment in time and they heard a name and they could disregard it and not think about it, but then if the car shut off as well, then you're going to be like, oh no. And if you're in a dead dark quiet lane as well, oh no, I'd have been freaking right out.
I was thinking about this recently, because I'm like one of these people who, like, if you get into the car in the dark, I will sometimes, not always, like, you put your hand in the back and just check there's nothing scary back there. and I sort of think that if I was driving, and I've just seen too many scary films, I think if I was driving and the car kind of conked out on a road, I think I'd be broadly fine for a while. But I don't think if I was driving a motorbike and had an issue, I don't know what I do. It must be something you have to be quite brave, I'd imagine, to drive your bike at night for many reasons, but for that one too.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely, very scary. We seem to have lost Cammy, so we'll go to you, Naomi.
Oh sure, yeah. I think for me, any scary car is any car being driven by somebody else. I have very, not to say I'm a particularly good driver, but I'm just not very trusting, I think. And so I, like you, Chris, I'm also kind of quite a bad passenger. So I've had experiences where I hate being a passenger. But one of the sort of scary moments I had, and it's why I voted for the Subaru earlier, is a friend of mine had an Evo. I don't know what one, but he kept talking about the special diff that it had, if that helps narrow it down. Just post. Yeah, that's what I was going to say 8, but I think you're right. So, and he had one in bright red, very, very proud of it. And he had to pick me up from the airport one day. And it was one of these situations where someone's sort of last words are like, watch this. Basically, I was picked up by the airport and we were about to join a motorway and was told all about this diff. And it's amazing. And the car will never let go. It will never lose grip. It will just keep going no matter how fast you go. And I hate that kind of scenario. Anyway, I hate anyone trying to impress me in a car. It drives me, it's occupational hazard in racing. There's always someone in the car who's going to be a bit of an idiot. But we basically ended up on a slip road trying to join the motorway, foot down, me gripping everything, foot down, car starts to go, overcorrect, and end up going backwards down the slipway into the back of another car. I don't know. It's very rare, I'm sure, to have the rear of two cars hit in a collision, and both came to the stop on this part of the motorway. Horrific. So I hate that kind of thing anyway. But you know, when you can feel it going and you can't do any, like, you obviously the driver can't do anything either, but you were just sat there. It was very, very scary. Anyway, so I'm never getting in a car like that ever again.
Love it. Brilliant. Well, Cammie's not with us at the minute, so I'll tell you my scary story. It's not a horror thing, or it's not a racing track thing. It was I moved to Canada thing, and my boss kept lending me her car initially till I bought my own. And I'd never driven on the road. I'd driven in Canada before, but never driven in this particular province. It was Saskatchewan in the middle. It's massive, but no one's ever heard of it. So it's just above the Plain State. So, you know, as far as your eye can see, that you can see your 100 miles, it's that flat. And so when I arrived, there was already snow on the ground. It was November, and I'd been out pootling around town in her car to get used to her car, get used to the conditions. And one particular day, I just thought I'd go for a drive sort of out just into the countryside. And I went up a road and thought, oh, I'll go up these little farm lanes. So I went up this farm lane and I thought, oh, there's just nothing up here. I'm going to turn around. I'll do a U-E. So, you know, nothing on the road. It didn't even have a line, that centre line down the road. So I just sort of swung the car to, you know, sort of take a nice wide berth so my U-E would be less manoeuvres. And as I did, the flat ground that was flat all around me started to sink, and I was too late. I couldn't stop. The car was going. I was going over, and I stopped everything, and I just waited. I waited to roll because it was that much of an angle, but I didn't. I was sort of suspended in the air, kind of thing, and I'd stopped. So I thought, get out of the car, get out now, you know, because I'm not going to be in this when it rolls. So I got out of the car and looked at it, and I was just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Like, I looked around, nobody around, nothing around me. I was about 5 or 6 miles from town. It was probably about -30 at this point, so it was really cold. Luckily, I had gear with me. I had my jacket and everything, my coat, but I was just looking at the car thinking, that's just going, it's in the ditch, I've lost it, what do I do? You know, I need to be pulled out. And I sort of started walking a bit and thought, well, there's nothing here. I'll go back to the car. Let's go back to the car. At least someone might see me at the car, you know, see a car stuck half on its side. And in the end, I thought, I'm on my own. There's nothing, I can't do this. I've got to do this. I can get no help. Had no signal on my phone, nothing. So I tried to go back. It wouldn't go back, like in a film, whip back rear wheels, just skidding. And I've never been in this situation before, so I just didn't really know what to do. So I thought, I'm going to try and rock it. If I go forward a little bit, I might get a bit more traction even on the front tires, because they've now dug in a bit. So I just inched forward a bit more with the door sort of pushed open, because I was holding it because the angle was that bad, just to jump out in case it went. And I just took it forward probably about 2 inches at the most, and I just started to reverse, and it just moved back a bit. I thought, right, go forward again, and I literally just started 2 inch at a time, and eventually got it that much that I just floored it and flung myself back out. And I just stopped, and I got out of it, and, you know, your heart's going and you feel sick. And I sat on the ground, and luckily, you know, everything's, and I looked at this thing, and it was a ditch. It was a ditch, and it was fine. I was fine. Car was fine. I went a bit further up, did a turn up there, came back, got back. And eventually, when I didn't say anything because there was no damage to the car. So I thought, I can't say anything. She'll never let me drive this thing again. I'm all right. Car's all right. I'm all right. Let's just keep like this. So when the snow eventually started to melt about 5 months later, I realised that there's a very high water table where I lived, and they raised the highways slightly. So either side of every single road, everywhere you drove, including the main number 1 that goes across the entire Canada is built up, and down the sides is 6 to 10 to 12-foot ditches, and all the ditches were full of snow, and they were just pretty much hollow. And I didn't know. I just thought it was flat land. So anyway, that was my really scary story. It just brought me
Amazing.
anxiety again, like going through it. I've never thought about it since.
It's amazing that you got out. Incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just
Really
grateful.
jamming.
It's a bit of a pat on the back and ego story in a way, but I'm just still so grateful that I got out, because every single day there was a report of someone dying, of someone being killed in a car. Every day you would hear it, not just on the news 50 miles away, it'd be someone a mile away down the road. And when the snow started to melt and you'd be driving along the roads, you'd see the amount of cars. There were just cars in the ditches that had come off and that had gone, and people had died in, and so it was at that point, and I'm quite glad it happened really early on, because it was within the first couple of weeks this happened, that it gave me a real newfound respect for where I was living. I wasn't in Manchester anymore, where, yeah, okay, we get severe weather here. Of course we get severe weather in this country, but that kind of weather, I'd never ever experienced that in my life, and it gave me this whole new respect for where I was living, the climate, everything about it, the land, and really it made you realize we're so fragile and we take so much for granted that we're not the ones in control here at all. This planet's in control.
And hey, it reminds me of a story, of something that happened to me when I first had the GTI. So I bought the GTI when I was 18, and a friend of mine, Martin, had a Renault 5, and I was following him to college or something like that on a quite a fast stretch of road in Swansea. And we're young guys with two hot hatches, giving it some on the dual carriageway. He had a blowout on the passenger side rear, and it pulled his car up this bank, and then I just saw him disappear over this bank behind me. I was like, oh, sugar, what's just happened? Like, panicked, stopped the car, pulled over, ran up the bank, and there's Martin in the field with his arms up in the air going, yeah! Car's completely totaled. He'd rolled it like 3 or 4 times in this field, but it was like a rainy, typical Swansea day. Just the ground was really soft. The car had gone in and just rolled over, but it kind of just lost all of its momentum through rolling. And he was absolutely fine. He'd been seatbelted in. The car was completely destroyed, absolutely totaled. And he was just like so buzzing from the adrenaline, just like, hey, I'm alive. It's amazing.
You can imagine. That's kind of how I felt once I got back to where I was living. I'm alive. Well, I mean, one of the things I didn't mention where we lived, and this is every single person that I knew and that I came across, you would sit in your car in your full winter gear. You wouldn't get in your nice warm car and take your jacket off like you maybe do here, like I do here, and throw your coat on the back seat. People would travel in their hat, in their gloves, in their coats throughout that whole winter season, because if you came out of that car, if you crashed or whatever happened, the temperatures were that severe that you would literally get hypothermic within seconds. You wouldn't have had time to get wrapped up and warm yourself back up again in your coat. So everyone travelled in their coats in case you came out of your car, and then you've already wrapped up, you're already fine. And I got frostbite. I've still got scars on my face because I got frostbite on my face. But the amount of people that lost a little toe or toes or parts of fingers, through frostbite, that I don't think I'd ever want to repeat that experience. But I was just so in awe of everybody that lived that every day. I've never complained about our weather in this country since, never once. I'm like, no, there's no complaining.
I love our moderate maritime climate. Just want to say that at the end of that story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But one of the best things, and any guys that are guys and girls that are watching as well, that know about Canada and about their vehicles, is my absolute love, and that I would want in this country, and that then they'd have to change the law for it as well, like the highway code laws, is the starters, the automatic starters, that you would be able to start your car as long as you were within a few hundred feet, and it would start up and you'd be able to warm your car up nice 10 minutes before you got in it, and it had they had timers. They were between 10 and 15 minutes, and then your engine had cut out, and there's a safety device that also, if somebody tried to then break in and steal your car without putting the key in reasonably quickly, then the engine would cut out again, so you'd still need the key to go in to be able to then operate your car, and they were great because you would need that car to be warm to actually get into it and to also drive it away, and you'd also plug it in at night, so your oil sump kept nice and warm as well, so you'd have something in your engine there, and you'd have to be careful you're not tripping over people's wires as you're walking along streets, to when they're plugged in at night. So it's very, very interesting when it comes to people's cars and vehicles over there and what they do. But that automatic starter, I'd love to have one. I mean, you can have 2 car keys, fair enough, but in this country, someone would just rob off with your car, wouldn't they? So we haven't got Cammy. Cammy's just had to step off to one side momentarily. So maybe we can get Cammy's scary car story next time. And I think we need DC's scary car story as well. But as usual, we have Craig to finish us off to end on 3 beers at the moment. So I hope he can. But he's going to end the proceedings and finish off with a fact for us. So take it away, Craig.
Yeah, well, I can still perform after 2.5 beers. Maybe after 10, it would be a bit of a struggle, but that's fine. So just taking it back to the current Formula One season with how close it is, Lewis and Max separated by 12 points, and this is easily the closest championship we've had in the V6 turbo hybrid eras. So for many years, with 5 races to go, and it's the closest championship we've had since 2012. When with 5 races to go, we had 4 points between Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel, and then in 2010, you also had 5 points between Vettel and Alonso as well. So it's incredibly close between the two, but not quite as close as those 2 championships, which both, of course, went down absolutely right to the wire. My God. So what did you put for your red and green, Craig? Who do you think is going to win this season? I think Max has got it, barring any sort of any reliability issues, because they've both got a track record for crashing in the sprint race now, in both, well, not in the sprint race themselves, but in the Grand Prix after a sprint race. So because there's one in Sao Paulo, it's going to happen there, obviously. But I think that really benefits Max because he's got the championship lead at this point. So I think barring some crazy sort of show up from Mercedes at Mexico and Sao Paulo, and who knows what happens in Qatar and Jeddah, 2 very fast circuits, and don't know what happened in Abu Dhabi either, but I think really with a 12-point lead and arguably the fastest car, Max is probably in the best place, and he's shown that he can win this championship.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a lot of sort of stats and percentages that have gone his way this season. When Lewis has won his championships, he's had the most race wins and the most this and the most that. So it kind of goes without saying it does look like it's Max's season, but we've got a few races to find that out. So thank you so much, everybody, for participating and for putting up with me taking over there just at the end.
I think we should do this every week, Ellie. Superb job.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Yeah, it's been brilliant.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you so much. So for anybody watching that hasn't managed to watch the whole episode, or if you'd like to watch it again, I think it has been split. The recording's been split into 2 pieces, but I think hopefully we'll be able to stitch that together and then pop that on YouTube. But yes, please subscribe, to ZoomZoomers on YouTube if you don't already, and to any of us that have those social media channels. You're going to look at Twitter, you're going to look at Instagram for ZoomZoomers, and you're also going to try and find the rest of us there. Any scary car stories as well, please, post them on our social media, because we'd love to read them and love to hear them. So yeah, please do that, and please join us next time in December. I'm not 100% sure yet if December's our dress up Christmas theme, or if we're going to wait till just the 1st of January. so bear with us for that. And I think we're going to try and pull some kind of fancy dress off for the next one, or for Christmas one anyway.
Did I wear my hoodie for the Christmas one last year? I can't remember. I think I did.
All I can remember was size hat. That's it.
Oh,
yeah. Only costume I can remember.
You had things in your beard.
I did. Bauble beard.
Right.
Craig had bauble beard.
I had my bauble beard. I'm going to have to regrow my beard. So let's make that happen again.
Yeah, let's not see Simon's hat again, please.
Why not? I might want to see Simon's hat again.
And if you missed it, go and watch the episode from last year.
It suits him.
Anyway,
I missed that one, but I already know what the hat is. You can give me one guess and I'll get it.
One scene. All right,
You only need one guess, that's for sure.
Thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and we hope that we catch you next time. Thanks, everybody, for joining tonight, and I hope to see you all again next month. And take care, and we'll see you all online if not at the next ZoomZoomers. So take care. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.